Subtitles. Welcome to the diner. He parked at the door, so the waiter asked him to move it, but he tossed the keys to the waiter. The waiter said he lacked a license. Shou flew into a rage, itching to punch him, yelling the place was a rip-off. Seeing this, the head chef quickly rushed over and asked why he was hitting someone, while the waitress attempted to restrain him. He spared no women. The restaurant victims soon sued him. And who took the case? Devilish Judge Yao Han. The assistant found from records that Shou often hit people, hundreds annually, yet victims always let him go. Shou's mother is the justice minister, and he manages her company Waterbacker. He always gets away after beating someone. If reported, Shou threatens and stalks, then offers money. Thus, his victims drop the charges. This time, he ran into Yao Han and got caught red-handed. Yao Han kicked off a court live stream, calling for public participation to judge this interest in Shou, and the prosecutor all the victims withdrew their allegations against Shou, and Yao Han was taken aback, calling for the head chef. Surprisingly, the chef arrived and also said he wouldn't sue Shou, as his mom told him the restaurant was closing. If they dropped the charges against Shou, they'd be allowed to keep running the place. Yao Han asked the chef why he changed his mind after saying he'd sue last night. The chef bowed, fist clenched. But for the sake of survival, he just said that Shou was joking around. No need to press charges. Shou stood up and said, well, if there's nothing wrong, it'll be off. But Yao Han chimed in, oh, there's definitely something. And had the camera zoom in on Shou, inviting people to join the virtual chat. Anyone who suffered from Shou can join. Hell handle can if they share their stories. But soon a girl joined in and said Shou was a creep. Just a glance at him during her prayers made her slap herself. The manager even called Shou the VIP of the place, so she had to swallow her feelings. Before she could finish, more people joined in, and the screens were overflowing. These were all victims of Shou, and Yao Han watched, looking utterly satisfied as he confirmed Shou's guilt. Yao Han shockingly called a recess, deciding to postpone the verdict for how to punish Shou, and you bet he had a plan. Just as expected, Minister Yingxi showed up to plead with Yao Han to spare her son. Yao Han said he might let him off, but she had to admit how she accepted bribes all these years to fabricate cases for the wealthy. Yingxi blew her top. She was under a lot of pressure because of her son's mess, and many were hounding her. For her future, Yingxi held a press conference that same day, announcing that anyone who breaks the law must face the music. Even her son wouldn't get special treatment, and she hoped Yao Han could throw the book at Shou, keeping him behind bars a bit longer. She figured that even if her son got in trouble, it would only be a minor injury charge, and he could work his charm to get out soon enough. However, Yao Han had the hunch the next day in court. He didn't put Shou in jail. Instead, he imposed a caning. Since Shou loves violence so much, why not let him experience being on the receiving end? Yao Han sentenced Shou to a caning and gathered everyone to supervise while Shou took 30 whacks. Yingxi was fuming on the side, smashing the TV, never expecting him to come up with such an idea as Yao Han called for a vote. Subtitles. If you support this punishment, click support. Many did, some pressing frantically. Shou flew into rage. Seeing support numbers rise on screen, he cursed all. What a lively vibe. No matter his pleas, Yao Han, the devil judge, wouldn't spare him and left after the verdict. As the Minister of Justice, Shou's mum had to sign her son's punishment document herself, facing the heat from the she had to sign in pain. Soon, Shou was taken to the execution ground with an incredibly large crowd. Reporters live-streamed everything as Shou was carted off for execution and bound to a contraption. The enforcer shouted the beginning of the execution, and one man approached with a stick, counting nearly every strike. The audience watched live, and while it seemed brutal, everyone found it a bit thrilling. Shou had never been treated so. He felt elated. Never thought he'd fall so low. A few whacks left him unconscious. That evening, Wen found Yao Hai expressing his disagreement with the verdict. Innocent Wen knew not the world's complexity. Yao Han didn't explain, just produced a listening device. This was what Wen suspected Yao Hai would use to recruit members and placed in his office, which confirmed his suspicions. Suddenly, they sensed something amiss. Wen turned and heard the timer for bomb counting down. Wen instantly pushed Yao Hai down, and the shockwave from the bomb held them several feet away. Then Yao Hai dragged the unconscious Wen away from there. Back at home, it turned out that Yao Hai brought him back because he missed his deceased brother too much. Looking at Wen felt like seeing his own brother. Wen asked why he was there, and the smooth-talking Yao Hai lied, saying it was for his safety. He knew who was behind it, but told the media he had no idea, claiming he would get the culprit soon.